Hi, friends!
Welcome to the Artist Blend.
Today we're talking about short-form artist creation with our special guest.
So grab your mug.
And let's get talking.
So we have a guest today.
Ooh,
Emily
yay.
Stevens.
Hello.
Hello.
Emily, who are you? What do you do?
Tell the world.
I am an actress and a content creator
Yeah.
Yes. And where can people find you?
at Emily G. Stevens on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
So obviously today we're talking about content creation and short form artistry and what that looks like. But before we get into that, just a few housekeeping things. First off, this is our first or one of our first regularly released episodes. We've done our first dump of the 4.
Yes,
so if you're listening, this would be like week 3, I guess, of the show.
Yes.
So rate and review. Do all of those things.
Leave us kind comments, leave us harsh comments. We want to learn. We want to know. We have loved the interactions so far. We appreciate anybody who's made input on topics that we've talked about. And in the process, we've learned, and the corrections we absolutely adore, because if we don't know and or are told, we don't learn. So going forward, we appreciate that very, very much. Leave us comments, leave us reviews, leave us stars. What else? You're all
Join our email list if you want to know more
join our
and you
email.
want to stay up to date with what we're doing, because we have some cool other projects in the works. Join our email list. You can just go to our link tree on our Instagram or
Yes.
wherever else that has all of our medias.
Yes.
Just go to our link tree and then click the little mailbox button and you can join our list. And
It's
it won't be, we won't murder you with
No.
emails every day. It'll just be like one a week.
It won't be those things where it's like, send this to 5 friends, otherwise your aunt's, I don't know.
A picture of a creepy girl. This girl
Yes.
will be at your bed at 3 a.m.
Exactly, yes.
if you don't share.
With coffee, but, you know.
With coffee, yes. And speaking of coffee, we have a different flavor to try, or a different kind of coffee to try today. But
You indeed.
per usual, if you want really good quality roast-to-order coffee from Carver Trading Company, just go to the link in the show notes here for 10% off. Of
Yes,
really
please.
Good coffee.
Yeah, and that code for 10% off is the Artist Blend. You can go and reference previous episodes where we've either spelled it out or said it before, but it's just a really good company, really good beans, as we've said, and we just love supporting them, and we appreciate the support from them as well. So go get some beans, have some nice coffee.
Yeah. And what are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking 8th and Roast, which is a Nashville company. I'm not sure when they started, but they have 2 locations here, and as far as I know, they have other locations, but I'm not 100% on that. However, we are drinking French New Wave, which is the blend of beans that we got today, and I have thoughts, as I'm sure the other 2 on here do, but we'll save them for the end, so if you want to know, stick around.
And Emily,
And
you're not a coffee drinker, right?
I am
Normally?
not. I am not.
She is-
Everyone knows that I'm a chai girl.
She is a Thai girl. Yes.
However, I've bought on this coffee.
There you go.
Yeah. Are you drinking it black, or did you put things in it?
I added a little bit of
That's
oat
fine.
milk brown sugar creamer.
Ooh.
Oh, that is my favorite.
It's the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good. My favorite Starbucks is I don't normally do Starbucks, but if I do for a little treat, I do the brown sugar oat milk shake and espresso. That is my all-time favorite drink.
Yep.
So good.
I have
So
it
good.
in my phone. I have it in your notes, in your contact. That's what you
Wait,
want.
really?
Yeah, because you texted me one time and I was like, I gotta save this, so if I ever want to surprise him, I can just be.
Oh,
able
and yours is an Americano. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Even though
That's adorable.
I drink way better coffee now, so it's fine.
Yes, we try to. That's our goal. Okay, let's do the thing. So we're talking today about short form artistry or content creation or whatever you want to call it. And Emily obviously is a brilliant actress, but also found yourself in the world of content creating. And I know, so taking us back to 2020, the world shuts down. And you are alone, you are bored out of your mind in quarantine, yeah?
Yes.
So what happened next?
Well, so I also want to give context. Up until this time, huge theater kid. Don't be fooled. I was not a kid that did theater. I was a theater kid. And I just did so much growing up in high school and everything. And then quarantine hit, like you said. And also my favorite movie my whole life has been Mamma Mia. I just love it. I feel like it brings so much joy and it's such a fun time and you can't be sad while watching it. And so I was on TikTok. I was super bored. I swore I would never get TikTok, but then I did. And
Same.
I started
I think
making,
that's most of us.
Yeah.
We swore we wouldn't,
yeah.
and then we did.
And then we had-
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I started making Mamma Mia related videos as a joke because I was so incredibly bored. And I thought to myself, oh, it'll be fine. Like, I'm going to delete them before I go back to school and no one will even know. Like, no one will even know that I did it. It'll be great. It'll be like, because at the time, yeah, I know it's really funny now, but at the time I just was very like really cared what other people thought of me and like was very controlled by that in my life, like had to please everyone. And doing that was kind of out of the norm for me and at the time in general. So yeah, I started making some videos. Here we are 3 years later and it's my job.
Yeah.
And it's not just limited to that, but it's grown, it's expanded. But it's a gift and a blessing. And I don't know, like, I feel like creatives, when they are bored, oh, you should be scared. You should be scared of what they will create because
they might create a podcast for heaven's sake.
Who knows? Yeah,
oh, no.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's so
very
cool. I love that you like stumbled into it, that it wasn't something that was at all like, I'm going to set out and do this.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is so fun.
it was never in the plan, which honestly I've learned in my life are some of the best things in life are the things that I never could have planned for. Because if you had told me I'd be doing this 3 years ago or whenever I was in high school, I would have laughed so hard and been like, what? No, never. Not her. So it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the obviously content creation as a phrase, it's sort of like a hot button word. Hot button? Is that the phrase?
Hot topic, hot button.
It's a hot topic. It's a hot topic. It's a hot button word. So that the phrase, I feel like a lot of people maybe have the wrong idea of what it might be, or that it's like an easy thing, or that it's a shallow thing. But it is its own form of artistry, and there's so many important things that go into it. A lot of creativity has to go into it, and things that came off the top of my head. You have editing, you have graphic design, you have creative marketing, you have photography, composition, all of those creative skills that go into content creation. And so I was curious, what of those skills, or any skills that I left out, what sort of came naturally? What skills did you already have? Are there things you had to kind of learn along the way? And sort of what's your experience with the many skills required to be a content creator?
Wow, yeah, I definitely think there are so many. Like you said, it's a lot more complicated than people think. And I also, the word content creator, I think is interesting when you compare it with the word influencer, because I think a lot of people, it's like, are you an influencer? Are you a content creator? Are you both? Because I feel like for so long, people would look at me when I was first starting growing and everything was happening. And they're like, you're an influencer. And I hated that word. I hated when I was called that because I feel like it might have a connotation of like somebody that posts something, but they act a completely different way in real life. And I just, that's not me. And that's not what I wanted to be known as. So I was like content creator, but I've learned that it really is, you're creating content, whether it's for a brand, whether it's for your own brand, or just like, it could be an assortment of things. But I would say editing was something I had to learn. I didn't know anything about that until I started. That was a journey, whether different apps and stuff. And I feel like now from quarantine, like 3 years later, there's so many more apps and so many ways to get involved and learn it easily. But yeah, I think editing was something I had to learn for sure. I feel like the documentation came pretty naturally to me. Like just documenting things aesthetically, I really enjoyed and found that I was able to do it quickly and efficiently. And then, yeah, honestly, you have to learn to be a good communicator, I think. Communicating your brand, your message in a helpful way and a way that other people can find you. But yeah, I think it's been a journey and there's so much I have to learn. I think the graphic design part also is something I would love to learn more about. Maybe take some classes on learning how to use like Adobe Illustrator and all that stuff because there's so much to learn.
I 100% agree with all your topic points there, Emily. my fiance Isabel, who was on a previous episode. If you haven't listened, go listen to that one. Just because it was a good topic and we enjoyed it very, very much. But she is on TikTok primarily for her book talk. And in helping her film some of her content and or coming up with an idea, I found that it's way more than just the 10, 20 seconds that you see. And people are like, oh, this seems easy. It can be if you're just chucking stuff out, but you have to put thought into it. You have to like meticulously think, what content am I going to put into this specific video? But another thing, and I don't know if you've found this, Emily, is I have found sometimes the most successful videos, at least with her platform, have been the ones that is a spur of the moment thought and you just do it.
Yes.
Like it's not I need to cultivate this 10-minute long. No, just do it. Just put it out there, and they do wonderful. So it's fascinating sometimes that the algorithm and or people are like, oh, I like this thing. It's really random. Great. The thing I put 10 hours into, you didn't like? Okay, that's fine. That's fine too.
No, Austin, that is 100% true. I can tell you right now, the videos that took me 2 seconds that I thought of on my couch, they did millions of views. And then the ones that and it depends, I think, because like if your audience has been asking for something, like a tutorial, for example, I had a lot of people being like, how do you do your hair? Give us a tutorial. And I'm like, okay. And so that one had been requested by many, so it was viewed a lot. But like, I'll come up with this great idea and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna plan out this really in-depth video on this. 2 views. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
awesome.
Okay.
Which, like, I think it's all relative, because I think another thing that we can touch on later, but I feel like a huge part of it is doing what you love, regardless, honestly, of the views. But I do think when you start getting into monetization and you start wanting it to be an actual like side hustle, you do have to factor in, because everyone wants to say like, just post what you love, forget about other people, but it's like, do you want those people to pay your bills, or do you want to keep making videos that they're not able to consume because you're not maybe doing it in a strategic enough way? So just depends.
Like balancing, we talked about this as a potential episode, but kind of balancing your artistry with your finances and monetizing your passions, and how that's such a difficult, beautiful, amazing, horrible balance to find, because you're playing with not only your heartstrings, but your fundamental needs as a human, and what you need to live. And I think it's a super interesting balance to find. Like, I think as artists, we like to compare ourselves to the people at the top of the field, where lots of money is invested. Like, as performers, for musical theater performers, for example, we compare ourselves to the Broadway cast recordings. And those sounds have been layered through multiple production companies and things that have invested so much money into a final product. And so I think we kind of tend to compare to the top of the field. And I guess that sort of relates in like monetizing and having to figure out the balance of like, this is my art and I know that it is quality, but then balancing it with what public wants or your audience wants or your niche in particular. I feel like that is a hard balance to strike for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Another thing, your journey, I love seeing your journey continue to develop, and you find yourself as an artist and like different skills and things that I didn't know you had, and I wonder if you knew that you had. One of them being, you're a designer. You have designed the bag collection, the Dynamo bags, and also the Mamma Mia collection. And so I'd love to sort of talk about you as a designer and what that looked like and how you sort of came across that.
Yes. So my first thing that I designed alongside one of my now best friends, Alexis, we designed a Mamma Mia collection that was like embroidered and vinyl pressed. And it was inspired. It was a minimalistic design, but it was inspired by the movies of Mamma Mia and songs of ABBA. And it was so fun. We did it all through PowerPoint. So if you're like an artist that is literally like you're looking for some fancy answer, there's not one. You just have to start. We literally made a shared PowerPoint, and we we literally, like, she had Procreate at the time. I now have it and everything, but we designed stuff. It was so much of it is do it, redo it, revise it again, revise it again, and then maybe that will be your end. So definitely it's such a journey, but the collection was super fun. That launched in, I think it was July 2021, so right before I came to college, which was so cool. And then we have launched, since then, I think we've launched 3 more. We launched a Christmas themed one, we launched a jewelry one, just like a restock, and then we did a summer one, which was Take It Easy was the theme. It was very like 70s, so that was awesome, and we look forward to more in the future and more exciting projects hopefully in the future. And then the bag, so there is this company called Pure World, and their bags, I was also on one of their podcasts, which was really fun, and their bags are sustainably made, which is a huge passion of mine. I've learned, I'm taking sustainability courses right now in college. I know Easton also and Austin both, like, very passionate about that as well, and it's been so interesting to learn about. But I was so moved by their mission and how they provide so many jobs to people through a backpack. And we, you know, a backpack to us is like a throwaway object, like, oh, just grab one off the shelf, but to be able to change people's lives through paying for a backpack that will last you for so long was really cool. So I designed a backpack with them. It was awesome, super fun. Definitely, it's not without its trials, though. We were pushed back production, actually. We were supposed to launch at the beginning of August. They delivered the patches to us that have my name on it. My name was spelled wrong. So
No.
Yeah. So the production was pushed back an entire month, I believe, which was crazy. So again, a huge part of artistry is pivoting. Like, Ross was not lying in that episode, because you gotta always be on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going too perfectly, I would worry a little bit, because you always got to be flexible. But that was crazy, and so pushback production actually worked out really well, because then the team at Pure World was able to come down to Nashville, and we had a shoot weekend and shot a campaign for the bag, which was incredible and so fun. And it was awesome. But again, a lot of revision, a lot of like, this is in my brain. Now, how do I communicate it on paper or electronically to the person, the producer, like the person that's actually producing it?
Yeah. That's crazy. Like, Easton and I have been talking about merchandising and trying to find companies that we agree with their values, but also what they're doing as far as creating. Was that a disco ball I see?
Okay, listen, I'm sorry. It's like in my window, and there's light on my face. What a surprise. And I'm sorry.
No, please. We love it.
Don't apologize. It's understandable.
Don't apologize for being yourself. But I love that you found a company that, despite the setbacks that you came with, it still ultimately came to a beautiful product, to a beautiful story. And then you got more out of it by being able to create better content for better sales necessarily. And not that the sales is important when you're doing any business, but that's not what you focus on. You want to focus on the product, the creation, and the steps getting to that point, I feel. But that's me.
No, that's so true, because I feel like whenever I dream up, I have something in the works right now that will launch in April. That is something that, like, I've been really passionate about. And I feel like a lot of stuff that I've launched it's stuff that I see a need for. Like, I want. It's like, oh, I would love a sustainable backpack. All right, I'm going to go make one. Because rather than the sales, I think the sales definitely, they're, like you said, so important, but not the goal. Because then it's not fun. It's not the dream. It's not you're not going to wake up every morning and be like, I get to sell something I don't care about, you know? But I agree.
It's like the age-old, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And similarly, it translates as like, it's not the net profit, it's the creation. That's why we create. We create for its creation's sake.
Yes.
Another thing that I saw when I was stalking you a little bit was I saw that you are the youngest ever DJ at Gimme Gimme Disco, which is so cool. And for those that don't know, like tell us a little bit about that experience and what it was like, sort of combining your content creation personality with your actress entertainer self in your disco element. I feel like that's a beautiful marriage of all of your loves. So tell us more about what that was like.
Okay, so if you haven't heard of the Gimme Gimme Disco, it's basically this touring company that it's basically an ABBA dance party, and it's in a big city near you. And they have these people that are DJs that play the music. So it's not like a live band, it's like a DJ plays like 70s and 80s hits, mostly ABBA, and you dance and with your friends and have a great time. And so the owners had reached out to me over the summer before this 2022, or summer 2022. The owners reached out to me and were like, we'd love to have you on as a DJ. And at the time, I thought they were going to be like a brand ambassador, because that's typical of most companies. They're like, oh, rep our products. I'm like, cool. But they were like, we want you to DJ. And I was like, my friends are going to get a kick out of this. Like, they're going to laugh so hard. I was like, okay, this is going to be really funny. So I was like, sure. And so we figured out stuff. I like shadowed the actual DJ who had done a lot of them for a long time. So it was like me and my friends, and he showed us how to do it. And then like we kind of would trade off, like he would do some, I would do some, and it was just a really, really fun night. But yeah, it was like, I think I didn't even realize until in the moment when I was there that I was like, oh my gosh, like I am performing. Like it really felt like it was in the vein of, sometimes my brain wants to compartmentalize stuff with like, this is theater, this is content creation, but it was such a blend of all those mediums. Crazy. So like the night was a fever dream. It was wacky, but it was so much fun, and it was just a lot of dancing and a great time. And I talked to, after I had my go-go boots on for way too long. I could not walk out of the parking lot. It was crazy. But I was sitting down near the end of the night backstage because I needed this second, because it's a lot of adrenaline, serotonin. And the security guard, it was at the Brooklyn Bowl in Nashville, for those of you that are locals. And he came up to me and he was like, the staff and I were talking, and we just have never seen like a DJ like you get up there and do it. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, most of the time it's like, you know, a guy that gets up there and just stands behind the table and like plays songs. And occasionally he'll come out and like say something in the mic. He was like, but like you were performing. He was like, you gave these people like a show. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's my major. Like, yeah. Like that's
I'm
great.
doing it.
So that was really cool when he was like, the staff and I were like, where did this girl come from? Like, she's not fitting this mold of like a DJ, that is what they do. And so that was really cool to hear somebody recognize that the mediums are all being crossed and working together. That was very cool. And it was so much fun. And it was just fun to dance around all night and really perform. Like, I just let myself tap into that, but it also is like my element. Like that, it was awesome.
Yeah. That's crazy. I couldn't even imagine that. But like it goes to show that as artists every artist takes their art very serious, as we all know, or they don't, and that's fine. But if you put yourself into your art, people are going to see it. Just like your example of them being like, we've never seen somebody have that much fun up there, for example. And it's like, I'm just doing what I love. Thanks for noticing. Like, it's reassuring that you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing good at what I love.
Yes.
And that's
and
I find
the
that
more multidisciplinary you can be, the better you can do each individual job or each individual pigeonholed art form, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so we've established that like short form storytelling or content creation already requires a plethora of skills. The experience of DJing and seeing the blend of those different art forms, I guess you could say, it makes me want to ask about, as you have found your own blend as an artist, what things have you found from different art forms helpful in others? So like as an actress, how does that help you as a designer? And as a general content creator, how does that help you as a DJ? You know, like what are sort of the cross beams that connect them to each other for you?
Okay, I feel like a huge one is confidence, because 90% of the thing, whatever you're doing, I don't, whatever it is, it's confidence. Because, and I feel like a lot of that has been inbred in me through acting and through what I've learned in like workshops and so much. Like people tell you, like when you go in the audition room, you got to be confident. You got to know what you're doing. And even if you don't a little bit know what you're doing, you're going to act like you know what you're doing, because that is half the battle, more than half the battle, I believe. And so I think acting, that's been a huge, like, I'll get people asking me on Instagram or wherever, and they're like, how did you get so confident? And I think it is obviously a lot of personal growth and work on yourself. But I also think with acting, you're taught it from a young age whenever you've been involved in it and stuff. I don't know if this is making any sense, but yeah, so acting is a huge thing. And then I think another crossover, I think if you're a performer, performing can't be taken out of you. So no matter what you go into in life, whether you are on a stage playing ABBA songs in front of hundreds of people, or you are in your room trying on a fun outfit, like pairing it with like some cool shoes, you're not going to be able to turn off. It's not like, okay, like press 1, I'm performing. It's like you can't take that out of you. You can't take that passion out. So it will bleed into everything else you do, which is honestly, I believe, a blessing, because I think that compares to how that guy was like, we've never seen anybody get up there and get so excited and dance so hard. And it's like, that is truly what I love to do, that music and that art form. So I think that's an example. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
That leads, while you're thinking, it leads me into a segue. Excuse me. Also, to the listeners, I'm slightly sick, so I apologize for the sniffles and the constant, like, out of frame.
Well, hey, earlier you had your required sneeze per episode,
I did,
so check mark on that.
Stop, that's so funny.
But what I was going to ask, Emily, is I love the way you phrased it of everything bleeding into each other and blending, which appears to be the theme of this episode, which is great, especially for the name. But Easton and I talk about this off podcast, and we've mentioned it a couple times in the beginning episodes. You have your proverbial toes in so many things as far as content creators.
Proverbial toes.
I'm just saying. Like, you
No,
don't
it's a perfect way to say it, but it's just so funny.
Merch.
Your proverbial toes.
What do you do that, like off camera, just as Emily, what do you do that is fulfilling? Like, it could be your thrifting, that I know you love doing that as well, for your content creation of different fits and like the 70s style that you do. But like, what do you do that you find fulfilling? Because I love finding out that about people, because as artists, we are constantly on, to use your phrase, it's nice to whatever we enjoy is our off time, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Okay, that's a really good question. I feel like, honestly, I'm going to be real honest with you guys right now. That is something I've been trying to work on, is finding those, like, actually resting. Like, actually, whether it's reading a book, whether it's crocheting, I love to crochet. And I think finding those hobbies. Another one for me, honestly, is, like, journaling and reading my Bible and talking to God and being like, hey, this is going on in my life and I need some wisdom here. And just having that intentional time and resting, I think, is something that I've been trying to work on, because your character is built where no one else can see you. It's not built on a stage in front of hundreds of people. Like, that is where the work shows, but the actual work of you and your life and who you want to become is done where no one else can see. And so what you're doing with that time, if you're spending all that time, and I run into this so hard, because in order to create content, you also have to consume it. And so I have to work really hard at not, like, consuming so much more that I have to be filled up so that I can pour out. And whenever I don't fill up, my content is like, everything in my life, honestly, is so much less. Like, it's less me, it's less of who I'm supposed to be. And so I feel like with a busy life, you have to fill yourself up. And for many people, that looks different. For me, it is reading my Bible, resting, having good conversations with people that I know care about me and hold a lot of wisdom in my life. And yeah, I think it's definitely, it's something that I try to figure out every day though, because it also grows and changes in different areas of your life, I think too. It's not just
Very
like,
much.
well, I'm 20 and this is my routine till I'm 60.
No.
It's like,
No.
it changes like
Yeah.
all the time for me every semester because college is whack.
Yeah.
You both know that.
Yes.
But yeah, I think those are a couple.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel too that like as artists in America, we have so much pressure to create.
Oh yes.
And in order to create as artists in any form, you made a great point. You have to consume as well. And so to create art of substance, you have to have a handle on the state of the world, the state of humanity, culture at large, culture at small. And you have to be able to know and understand so many different points of view to create art that connects with people. And finding the balance of consumption and creation on top of being a human and breathing and resting is so hard to find. I had a professor in college that just said, just stop. Just stop. You can probably guess which one it was. And he said, for him, he said, for me, I like to just put my hands on the earth. I love to garden, and I love to not just houseplants, but like in his yard, like he grows his own vegetables and things. And he's like, for me, it's really grounding because there's nothing else that matters in that moment but the way that I'm connecting to the earth, and spiritually for him, that's how he connects with God and a higher power, and by just digging his hands into real grounded, literally grounded things that aren't in the stratosphere, that aren't in his mind or his imagination. It's just, this is here and now. And I love that. And for me, I have lots of houseplants. So that's one thing that I've sort of been experimenting with is I love plants, and I love, I'm not a big plant person. I'm an enjoyer of plants, but I'm not I wish I was further down that road than I am, of understanding and caring for more complicated, more finicky plants. But that's been one thing that's great for me, and it also is great for my mental health because it provides it's fresher air. It also, there's a lot of studies that have gone into the effect of a houseplant in a room, and that it breathes life into a space and creates a sense of calm and helps relieve stress. So that's been one thing for me, houseplants. Yeah. Also reading, bike rides, spending time outside is something that I kind of disconnected to in college. Just being in the sun.
Literally, the other day, I was like, my day was going fine, but then a bunch of people my friends were out sitting on a blanket, and I sat with them out in the sun for like 10 minutes. Completely changed the trajectory of my day. It is crazy what vitamin C, D, what being in the world God created for us will do. And I agree with you definitely on that point about, I also think this connects back to sustainability, but we were not designed to keep up the pace that society and the culture tells us that we have to keep up. And that's something I've been learning too, because when you are an ambitious person, like I know both of you are, and the listener probably is, you believe you cannot stop, because if you stop, you won't be successful. Heaven forbid, you won't make enough money that won't even fulfill you in the first place if your basic needs aren't met, so it's like, it's a lot. But I agree with you, those are great ways.
And I'm sure that as a content creator too, because the state of the art, to put it, or the state of technology and content creation is more, always. There's always something else to scroll to, and that's the nature of the softwares themselves, is to keep us scrolling. And so there's always stimulus, and so being able to disconnect from that and to be a human too is something important. And I had a point in there that is now gone, but that's okay, because Austin has something to say.
I do. It's another segue. So in prep for this episode, I did a little bit of research on some statistics about short form content and why it's important necessarily. But here were the interesting stats that I found. This article was from 2022, so it's probably outdated. Not probably, is outdated, I should say. But TikTok, at the time of this article, had generated 1 billion users in 6 years. Like, it's crazy to think about that.
Wow.
Like,
It's an eighth of the planet.
Exactly. 73% of consumers prefer short form videos. So, like, if it's longer than 10 seconds, they scroll past. Or if it doesn't grab them right away, they keep going. And that's crazy because I fall into that on a lot of videos that show up on my FYP. But also TikTok's listening right now, so it's going to change. But
No, literally.
the other thing for me is when I'm on my FYP for TikTok, for example, it's always confused. But then there are days where it's like, I know you. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Because I just change it up. But the thing about short form videos, and Emily is a business woman, very powerful, but also just business in general. It says that short form video has the highest ROI, which is, for anybody that doesn't understand that, that's return on investment, because it's 10 seconds and it can generate so much. And it ties back to what we were talking about. It may be like 10 minutes worth of thought process for 10 seconds, but that's a higher return on investment by only doing that short form of that way. And this is a statistic, I can talk, this is fine, that I wanted to discuss with you, Emily. And you may not know this, which is fine. But it said 30% of all short form videos are watched 81% of the way through. So it's saying, like, even the most successful videos aren't even finished. And I'm like, why, if it's 10 seconds, why can't we focus that long? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, as you go through your analytics and sort of have the business side of your creations, what does that look like for you when you're looking at analytics?
Oh my gosh. It definitely speaks to the attention span of my generation and the future ones and the ones before me, like everyone. Our attention spans are so getting shorter. And I do believe that it's changing everything. It's changing the world of marketing. And I run into it in my own life too, because I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And on YouTube, I enjoy doing weekly vlogs, but those are a lot more time consuming to create and to edit. And they are like, mine tend to be like 15 minutes in length. So it's kind of like you can eat it. Don't eat it. Why did I say that?
You can eat it. It's fine.
Enjoy my content. It's delicious. Bye. I meant to say, you can watch it when you're eating lunch or something, you know?
Yeah.
But because they're meant to be just like fun, like catch up with me vlogs. But sometimes I struggle to have motivation to work on those, because as much as I love them, I know that the amount of growth and engagement, and if we're talking technical terms, I'm going to have such a better response if I take 10 minutes and compile all my most recent clips of me in fun outfits and add a fun sound, add some text, done. 5,000 followers overnight. And it's like, that's harder, because it's like, this is so much more like, it's satisfying for the viewer and it's satisfying for the creator. So it's like, why would we not pick that? But I think there are pros and cons. You know, sometimes people like, you probably shouldn't eat and scroll at the same time, or like you know, so you want to just sit there like with someone. And there are so many successful people that produce like 45-minute vlogs a week, and they're amazing to listen and watch too. But yeah, so I think absolutely those statistics are reflected in me, and I'm sure any other creator you talk to, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting because, as you said, years ago I used to, I don't as much now. Any kind of content that I take in, it's for purposes, it's for listening for clever sounds. For example, when I'm on TikTok or Instagram, if I hear a song and I can attain humor to it, I'll twist it and be like, ooh, that would be a cool video. But it was saying that keep it less than 60 seconds. And even that on Instagram or TikTok is long for some videos. And it's interesting because, excuse me, this is a horrible episode. For me, it's funny to have seen the progression. For example, with Instagram, before they had Instagram stories, it was just posts, and then it was reels.
The good old days.
I know, the good old days. And then you had Vine, which started with 7 seconds, and then it went to minutes, and then TikTok was the same way. Started very simple, and then they went to longer content creation. But I'm curious as to why, when there's other avenues necessarily, like if you want to make a video that's longer than 60 seconds, go to YouTube. Like, and I'm not saying that's my thought process of like you should go there. It's fascinating to have. I would love to know the business side of like why did they not just start that way, unless it was a way to be like, is this going to work? I don't know if it will or not.
Yeah.
Much like Easton, I had a point and it went away. So
I wonder if part of that is due to wanting to start with a niche to have a better control over the audience, not control over, but like to be more in tune with their niche audience of people who enjoy this type of content.
Yes.
And then from there, as they gain popularity, okay, we need to appeal to more and more people now. How do we do that?
Yep.
And then from there, expanding. Like I guess it's sort of like any company that starts out with one niche product or a couple, like a handful of products.
Yep.
And then as they gain popularity, they're like, okay, we need to expand. And then they wind up losing what they were, in the process.
Yep. And you brought me back to my point, so thank you, Easton. For me, I'm a very individual person. Excuse me. So I don't. I'm my own algorithm. But for me, like if I like a video that someone's created, or I like a post, that doesn't automatically mean a follow. So Emily, when you were talking about like you create a video and overnight you've got 5,000 followers. So it's interesting to me. I generally will follow someone if I like go through their videos or posts and I see several that resonate with me or I really like, or I want to know what's coming forward. So I'll hit that follow button. But I don't know if everyone does that, or if they, for example, with you, Emily, if they found one video and they were like, oh, I'm going to follow because in this one video, I know that I want to follow this person. Or if everyone goes through that similar process of being like, I want to see what this person's about before I can commit to it necessarily.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. I've thought about that a lot also. And I think it depends on the person, because like you, I think if I see a cool video, that doesn't guarantee that I'm going to follow the person, but maybe if I see a couple more, or maybe if I look at their feed and it's really pretty and they seem really cool, then perhaps. But I think another thing too, that a lot of people focus on the followers, and it's crazy. Honestly, it is weird to be you and like be chilling, living your life, be the same person, maybe growing into a better person, a better version of yourself, and then also have all this going on. Because I mean, I've run into people that are like, it's very weird, but I've had to like kind of look at who is my friend because they love Emily and who loves Emily G. Stevens and her platform and wants to have a shout out. And like, it's very strange. But I think that the followers is another thing that people, and like, I think people that aren't creators see the followers and they're like, oh, wow. But people that are creators and brands, we look at engagement. And so it's like, I could have a solid number, but if that solid number doesn't care about the backpack, doesn't care about the sweatshirt, doesn't care what I do on a day-to-day basis, or maybe advice I have or stuff I want to share, then it doesn't matter at all. Because ultimately, like, it goes back to real life, I think, but I use this in the vein of social media, that people don't care what you have to say until they know you care about them. And so I try to work that into my content, because I do genuinely care about the people that connect with me, because I believe that God has brought them, all of us here, for a purpose. And so if I can encourage them and uplift them in any way, then I have done my job. And like that is such an honor. And so I feel like engagement is a huge thing. Like if I receive a specific message from someone that is like, I got a message the other day that this girl is like, I saw one of your reels and I was about to go run an errand, and I changed my outfit because I bought these new pants and I'd really been wanting to wear them, but I was scared because of what other people would think of me. But I saw one of your posts, and so I was like, no, I'm going to do it. Like, Emily would want me to do it. And so she like wore this really fun outfit and like ran her errands, and I'm like sitting on my couch like weeping over this text. I'm like, I'm like,
That's
what? Because
incredible.
it's crazy. It is crazy what God
Yeah.
will do with you when you give him everything and stuff. So, but it was wacky. So that to me is like so incredibly rewarding, and I don't even know how I am deserving of it. Whereas like, and then I feel like other people, that over like however many followers you want to give me, like that is crazy, because that to me
100%.
is an impact over an influence, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That leads back into a point we started at the beginning. Like, are you an influencer or are you a content creator? Because
Yeah.
I would consider you both, as all three of us would be, because we genuinely care about the people who are ingesting our art and
Yes.
any platform, which is, I mean, that's the whole reason we started this podcast, is because we want to promote goodness in the world. And another reason we had you on as a guest, because you're just a wonderful individual who is sparking so much joy into the world. And I hope you know that, because we see it in you and we know that it's happening. But it's those are the fulfilling moments, and that's what we want to see more of. That's why we create art. That's why we, as artists, are putting ourselves out there. We don't, I mean, we want all of you to follow us because we want to be in contact with you, but we don't care. At the end of the day, that's not what matters. Touching someone in a fulfillment way and making somebody more confident in what they want to wear, or being themselves and just expressing their individuality. I love that. I love that story. I'm going to think about that all day.
And that is like, that is one of many also that I've just been like shook by. But I think it goes back into theater, because just like that is a way of connecting with people. It's like people will come up to actors and be like, thank you for telling that story and playing that character, because it changed my life, or it changed the way I view the world in this sense. And it's crazy. Art is the best thing ever.
Yeah, and for the world of musical theater, when Doubtfire was in New York, Rob McClure posted tons of, anonymously, he posted tons of messages from people saying, hey, my parents just got divorced. Seeing this story meant a lot to me. Or, hey, my dad just passed and I had a really similar relationship. And just all this stuff. Art touches people, and art matters. And that's why we do it. And at the end of the day, content creation is an art form. It's not just a business model. It's not just influencing. It's its own form of artistry. It's connecting with people in a way that means something to them. And hearing that story is, it's just beautiful. And
I know.
As we get sort of on the long side of podcast world, to kind of wrap things up, one of the last things I wanted to talk about was something to do with your heart connection to your work. What is something that you are so excited about that's on the forefront of your content creation world? What's something that's getting you pumped up right now that you're really excited about?
Well, I have a project that I've been working on. I cannot really share much with you because it is a secret, but I'm really excited about it, and it's something that I've designed for anyone who wants to look into it. But other than that, I'm excited to continue to explore what content looks like. I'm excited to explore what I can pour out when I'm filled up. Like, to continue to, like, doing what we talked about, like, resting and learning how to, like, take care of myself and my mental health. Because when I do that, I'm able to encourage others to do that. And when you can encourage others, it's limitless. Your abilities are limitless, because that is what will change the world. So, yeah, I think an array of things. I'm honestly kind of like, I don't have 400 things going on right now at the same time, so I'm kind of like, we got to get the ball rolling here. I'm too like lazy. I gotta like come out with all this stuff, but we'll see. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. We can't wait to see what comes out. If you're just joining in the middle of this episode, odd, but you can find her at Emily G. Stevens on all platforms, correct?
Correct.
But also, to tag onto her, we also have some interesting things in the works, so stay tuned with that, and we hope to have some exciting things coming your way and our way, honestly, because much like Emily, we're like, what's next?
What's next?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So you have your obviously you have your Instagram and TikTok accounts where people can see some really cool content. You also have your weekly vlogs. Is there anything else that people should know that you're working on or that you have available right now?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Nice.
Cool. And then you have some cool links on your thing as well. You have like your bags and lots of chai stuff, which is fun.
Yes.
Try it out.
Absolutely. I mean, if you follow along, I do weekly chai chats on my Instagram stories where we talk about life and drink chai, and it's really fun. And then I just document my life elsewhere and just have a great groovy time.
Yes.
Oh, I will be, if you are in Nashville and you want to dance with me, I will be DJing at the disco February 24th, I think. It's a Friday. 24th or 25th, but I'll be there with another DJ. But we'll have a great time. So definitely come if you are interested in that. And you want to see me do the backwards worm to Voulez-Vous, because who doesn't want to see that?
Yes, please.
That's my signature.
Yes.
We love that.
But anyway, yeah, we'll see what's in the works, but I think that about sums it up.
Amazing.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you
wow.
so much for joining us.
Yes,
Thank you for
very
having
much.
me. This was so
course.
fun. You both are such gifted communicators and inspiring humans, and the
Well,
fact
thank
that
you.
you created this like podcast is a gift to everyone, people that don't even know it yet. So thank you.
Thanks,
That's so
Emily. That means
sweet.
so much. Yeah.
Aw.
You're like, oh, we don't know what to say.
Aw.
Well, as we're wrapping up, let's talk about the coffee, shall we?
Oh,
Give our
yes,
thoughts.
we had such a great conversation. I literally
know.
forgot that was half
That's
of the podcast.
Okay, so everyone grab your mugs. Hold on to it. It's going to be great. Easton, what were your thoughts? You were the one that freaked out when you first
Oh
sipped
my
it.
gosh, it's funny because I had a smaller cup of coffee earlier that I kind of was able to compare it with, and it was so full. It was so flavorful. It was deep. It had lots of stuff going on, and I'm not a fan of acidic coffees. I prefer staying away from sort of fruity flavors. Generally speaking, I'm okay with a little bit, but this was low in acidity, and it was a good cup. It might be maybe one of my favorites that we've done.
I know, me too. Emily, your thoughts, because you are the chai lady.
Yes. So, like I said, I'm a chai girl. I don't dabble in the coffee universe. However,
Yes.
I was impressed. This was really good. I had it with brown sugar oat milk creamer, and I really liked it, which has got me questioning everything.
It's like, I'm confused now.
It was
Yeah,
so
and I
good,
think
so
that
good.
creamer was also a good choice for this coffee. I think
Yes.
like the flavors
much.
of the coffee paired very nicely with brown sugar.
For those curious, we are drinking Eighth and Roast French New Wave. Eighth and Roast, I think we talked about this at the beginning, but Eighth and Roast is a Nashville company. They are roasting here in town. They have 2 locations here, but I know Easton has talked about they have like bagged coffee and things available in Florida, so I think they ship out. But you can check them out. We're still working on trying to get more localized coffee like Carver Coffee, which you can use our link, The Artist Blend, to get 10% off for and support their business. But if you know of more, please let us know, because we would love to try it, because we like coffee. We like good beans.
And that is a lovely segue to
Yes.
end the episode.
Yes. I think we've tried like 3 times.
Yeah, no, but this is perfect because you
Yes,
said
here we
the
go.
keyword, which is
I did.
important.
Yes.
All right.
You want to say it this time?
No, let's let Emily say it.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Emily, sign us off.
Be good beans and drink good beans.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy your days.
Bye. The Artist's Blend theme music was written and produced by Christopher and Sarah Bailey of Well Wishes Productions, a Nashville-based boutique production company specializing in multimedia production, live event contracting, studio, and live vocals. Find Incognita's infamous adventures on Amazon Prime and its soundtrack on all digital platforms.